Good evening and welcome to our Holiday Edition news. Hundreds of people made the most of their family day celebrating and learning more about Indigenous culture as they attended the 2024 Family Day Powwow at the CLE Heritage Building. Jessica Clement reports.
Residents from all over the city made their way to the CLE Heritage Building on Family Day to drum, dance, sing, and honor Indigenous culture at the annual Family Day Powwow. Along with the colorful regalia and music, the event also saw a local crafters market of vendors offering a variety of products. Elaine Joseph, acting manager of Indigenous Relations, says the Family Day Powwow has been going on for a number of years, but this is the second year the city has hosted it.
This year we were able to bring together a number of some of our key partners from the community, so a number of the signatories to the Thunder Bay Anti-Racism and Inclusion Accord that have generously helped support the event, and we've brought together a small team to help organize the event. It's really heartwarming. I just see the pride in people's eyes, and the fact that they're enjoying themselves is really important to me.
The Heritage Building was packed, and Joseph estimates over 500 people visited the powwow throughout the day. He says it's great to see all the support from the community.
This year's turnout is awesome. I'm so happy to see all the crafters that we have in the place, people checking that stuff out. All the drums that we've invited are here. There's tons of dancers. And I think people are enjoying themselves. I've also noticed, last year was, a crowd that was, I think, used to powwows, but I've seen lots of people who are, I think, first-time visitors to a powwow, so that's really encouraging for me.
Joseph adds that the powwow serves as an opportunity for people to come together to celebrate and learn more about Indigenous culture. We asked some attendees what they enjoyed most about being at powwows.
Connecting to culture and learning more, and what's it called? It just feels nice, and I have a nice aura from powwows.
I enjoy about how I can connect to my culture.
I dance for my people, and I dance for the voice of the youth.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police are looking for volunteers within the force to participate in a unique partnership with the OPP and the KI First Nation. Police officers and other employees are being invited to spend a one-week deployment in Big Trout Lake to learn about Indigenous policing and build relationships that will help the force here in Thunder Bay. Jonathan Wilson reports.
It was a good trip for myself and Chief Fleury, and I think our officers will be treated very good up there.
Deputy Police Chief Ryan Hughes and City Police Chief Darcy Fleury were recently invited by OPP to travel 600 kilometers north to Kitchener-Maykootsib in Innuwig. It's an initiative meant to strengthen the bonds between the two police forces and the remote community.
We've been working with the Ontario Provincial Police regarding a partnership with the opportunity to police with them in some of their northern fly-in communities of First Nations. And the OPP reached out to Big Trout Lake, KI, and spoke with their chief and council and asked if they would be receptive to Thunder Bay Police doing policing with their officers up in their community. The chief of Big Trout Lake was very receptive for our officers working up there.
Hughes says their officers and other employees will spend 1 week in Big Trout Lake, working alongside the OPP, which absorbed the KI Police Service last April.
Give our officers the opportunity to observe First Nations, northern First Nation communities, how they live, and how to interact with them, and how the OPP officers interact with the First Nations communities up in a northern community.
Hughes says besides the insights their officers will gain, the force as a whole will also benefit from this initiative.
What we want to do as a service with Big Trout Lake is to build a relationship, so when their community members are in Thunder Bay, they're not nervous about approaching a Thunder Bay police officer in the community when they need it. And that's one of the main purposes, is to build that trust and reconcile the differences that we've had in the past.
The Thunder Bay Police volunteers will be offered the chance to travel to KI one at a time in order to ensure staffing levels aren't impacted in Thunder Bay.
We will not be going under staffing levels to send officers up. We will make sure our staffing levels are what they're supposed to be at prior to sending our officers up north.
And Hughes envisions this becoming an exchange program, with KI officers spending a week in Thunder Bay working alongside their staff. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Organizers with the Coldest Night of the Year walk are calling for more walkers and donations as the fundraiser returns this Saturday. The event raises money for Grace Place, a local nonprofit that helps people who may need clothing, food, and shelter. The walk will take place on February 24th at 3 p.m. at Summit Church, and participants will have the option to choose between a 2K or 5K walk. Event director Gary Maximchuk notes they've raised just over half of their $90,000 fundraising goal and have over 240 walkers signed up. He's hoping to see around 350 walkers come out this year, and Maximchuk adds the event is the largest fundraiser for Grace Place and helps the charity pay for everyday expenses.
This year the funds will be used to, well, for the building, to keep the lights, the heat, and the water flowing here. And of course, the building supports our community meal program and our Out of the Cold program each night. We rely on these funds every year, and you know, the last 9 years, this has brought in probably about $600,000 to Grace Place. So we're very dependent on the funds and dependent on the walkers and the teams and people donating to Grace Place.
If you'd like to register to walk or just make a donation, you can go online to cnoy.org and select Thunder Bay as your location. We'll now turn to an announcement out of an incredible discovery at the bottom of Lake Superior. The Arlington was a bulk carrier ship that went down during a storm 84 years ago, with its wreckage found 600 feet underwater. Vasilios Bellos reports.
A World War II-era ship have been found in Lake Superior. The 244-foot bulk carrier, the Arlington, was carrying wheat from Port Arthur to Collingwood when it sank 84 years ago during a violent storm. The announcement of the discovery was made by the Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society and shipwreck researcher Dan Fountain. Fountain was the one who spotted the anomaly while studying remote sensing data in the search for shipwrecks.
From the Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society, them putting up the boat, the sonar, the volunteer crew, and the long haul that they had to get the boat over to the search area. So it was a lot of effort by a lot of people. So finding it, while it was exciting, it was also a relief to say, we didn't do this in vain.
The ship was discovered using a remotely operated underwater vehicle that identified the vessel. The morning of the wreck, the Arlington encountered heavy fog and severe weather. That led to the first mate ordering the vessel to hug the shore, but Captain Frederick Burke put it back on course in the open lake. The vessel then began to sink, with Captain Burke going down with the ship. The rest of the crew abandoned ship, which was thankfully being escorted by a larger vessel, the Collingwood, where they evacuated to.
If the Collingwood hadn't been accompanying them, it could have been a true disaster where these are small lifeboats. They're the best they had at the time, but being out in those seas that far from shore in a lifeboat would have been, and at that time of the year, it was May 1st.
Fountain hopes this is the last chapter in the story of the Arlington and that it brings closure to the family of Captain Burke.
More family fun today at Marina Park, which was lit up and buzzing with activity as the city hosted its snow day on the Waterfront event. Due to mild temperatures, the popular snow sculpture competition was canceled, but organizers provided residents with a flurry of other activities over the long weekend. A temporary art installation was available for public viewing called Exposure, which allowed visitors to use light sources like cell phone cameras or glow sticks to draw pictures. Visitors were also able to enjoy a pixel light wall, a candlelit snowshoe trail, and warming fires around the marina. City Event Supervisor Louisa Costanzo says this year they wanted to make the waterfront glow.
It's always been kind of a dream to light up this area. I think it'd be really majestic, especially in the wintertime, to get people out in the light, have sit by a warm fire. It's nice to see it kind of all come together and see people out enjoying themselves in the wintertime, where maybe they might not come out at this time, but it's nice to see the skating rink is busy and just seeing people out. It's great.
Snow Day activities will continue tonight until 10 p.m. Another Thunder Bay family has made it onto a popular game show. The Dampiers were in Toronto in October for a taping of Family Feud Canada, and their episode airs tonight. The family first applied to be on the show last year and got the much-anticipated phone call to come for the competition. However, because of differing work schedules, they just weren't able to make it. But then they got another invitation last spring, and the family jumped at the chance to make sure it happened. Lisa Dampier says it was a dream come true.
Oh, it was so much fun. I've watched game shows my whole life, and it was kind of like a goal that I had that someday I'd get on. So we don't get to do a lot of things together as a family with all of our schedules now. So having that opportunity together to go and have some fun was just fantastic.
Tell me who all went. Who's your family?
So my husband, Joe, both of our kids who are adults, Alex and Katie, and then our fifth was our goddaughter, Alexa.
Oh, it was so much fun. We were so excited leading up to it. Lots for the family trip part of it, but to be on a game show that we grew up watching, it was super exciting.
Do you think your family is made for this kind of thing?
Absolutely, they are. Whenever we told people that we were going on, they were like, of course, it's you guys that are going on TV.
Because of the show's confidentiality rules, we can't tell you how they did just yet, so you'll have to tune in to CBC's show airing tonight at 7:30. And we're now joined by Joe Sadowski, our sports anchor. And Joe, there was a classic rivalry against the North Stars and the Walleye.
North Stars Walleye battle at Highway 1117. We'll have that story and much more coming up after the break.